wrestling and boxing, for example, is like the difference between porn and sex.
Right.
Yes, one of them is fake.
Yeah.
But nobody goes home disappointed when it ends in 10 seconds.
So as a kid, Lee, you were a wrestling fan. I'm going to get a lot of shit for this because I have this very outspoken opinion that I think it's a load of shit.
And that's the mentality we have, right? It's not me against you. Wrestling is like a competition amongst artists.
I thought, and I hope this doesn't come across nasty, but I thought you had one eye.
For a little while, I kind of did. You know, I'd love to do a YouTube wrestling match against a YouTuber. I think it would fucking crush.
Who would you want to fight?
2 people. First person, Bambino Becky.
Really?
100%.
Do it on me. I want to see how hard you'd do it.
Do you really want it?
Yeah.
Right. I want this.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm fascinated. I genuinely am not just saying this for the sake of the podcast, but I am seeing it in a completely different light. Hello guys and welcome back to Jack Mate's Happy Hour. Right, so let's introduce our guest. We've got a guy called Lee Malone. You are a wrestler.
How you doing? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to my thoughts on wrestling and stuff like that. But it's quite interesting how this episode come to be because you are the first person we've ever had on that has like requested to come on.
Nobody else wants to be here.
So.
Well, I mean, if I knew I was going to be in a small room with someone, it probably would have been a later email. But,
yeah. You know, you emailed a couple of months ago and you were chatting with Fee, and Fee came to me and she was like, this guy's got a mad story, and I'm just excited to hear it today. So we'll get to that. Something we do with our guests here is we open up with a famous question, synonymous with Happy Hour. You can probably guess what it is. What's your go-to meal deal?
Right. Before I answer that, there's one thing I do have to say. You spoke a little bit a while ago about KSI and Logan Paul and about how Logan was trying to be the bad guy in the second fight. How he wore the beret and he wore the all black.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, that's a really shit attempt at being a bad guy. Like, come on, you could have tried a bit harder. So I'll tell you my meal deal. Right?
Yeah.
BLT, raspberry Pepsi Max.
Oh, God. Have you brought it? Oh.
Right? That is how you make a bad guy.
Dirty.
Rain it from the roof.
Dirty.
It's good shit, right? But I know you guys did the 50 days of fitness, right?
Yeah.
When you're trying to do when you're trying to pack your calories in.
Yeah.
If you choose a good sandwich, you get like a low calorie drink, and you get one of these, you get it all within 500 calories.
Do you?
You're killing it.
135 calories in these.
Oh,
I might actually. I think we should actually try these on the.
I've never.
And these are the worst ones because the other ones are like. I mean, these are the worst.
The other ones are about 97 or something.
Is this admitting defeat though?
No, because we're going to test it and then we're going to cough it up all over him.
Give in to the dark side.
I'm loving this.
Right, wait,
the dark side.
because I thought these were like you kept going on as if they were super healthy. 135 per pack is still.
Nah. Bear in mind, a pack of McCoys is about 300 calories, and these are full. These bags, they take ages to finish.
Do they fill you up?
Yeah, they're good. Oh, this is my favourite moment of the podcast ever.
Why?
You're both just sat there eating popcorn, not at the cinema.
I'll eat anything if it's free.
That's our loophole for today.
You can give me Ricelin, is that?
Ricin.
Ricelin. You can give me
This is
Ricelin.
my new Michael Jackson at the cinema with the popcorn gift.
I like this.
Fair play,
no,
mate.
thanks.
It's nice.
Oh, this is my
Thanks,
favourite.
boss. Take care.
Did you book him?
He didn't actually email in.
We find out it's actually Stevie's brother.
He's upset the status quo now.
What do you think of them?
They're good, aren't they?
They're all right. I still feel like I'm just waiting to see the 20th Century Fox logo come up.
I tried to make you guys do this for ages. I didn't realise all I had to do was just give you a free bag.
Attack. Yeah.
The funny thing is, because of this whole thing, Propercorn sent me a box of every one of their flavours.
Yeah.
I just never ate them. They all went out of date. So I could have just bought
I'm not doing the podcast anymore. Mr. fucking Popcorn King over it. Oh, I didn't want them. You've been given a free box of popcorn and you've left them there. Don't protest. Don't campaign for these anymore, please.
It's not that I didn't want them. It's that I didn't have the main and the drink to go with them. It didn't feel right.
Oh my God. So, and what was your sandwich? Sorry, BLT.
BLT, because like the tomato on its own is all right. You stick it in there with a sandwich that could be sitting there all day, could be getting dry. Tomato juices loosens it up.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a tomato man.
Bit of moisture.
Oh, we should probably stop these. Do you know what I mean? You're like, so the only 2 times I've ever eaten popcorn is in the cinema and on whilst doing a podcast. The 2 worst times. Yeah, because to be fair, you shouldn't eat popcorn in the cinema, should you?
Oh, mate. The one thing that pisses me off beyond belief is just how noisy people actually are in the cinema. It really does. I mean, this shit constantly.
Yeah.
When you're trying to watch a film,
No, it's the
mate.
worst when they take it out slow.
Yeah. Just get it over and done with.
And it's like a little every
Yeah.
couple of seconds, and
Yeah,
it lasts
yeah.
for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's literally just fucking pull the trigger,
I think
man.
if you're polite and you are going to take that kind of shit into the cinema, open them up during the loud intros, the loud trailers, boom, get them all open, and then just be going through them. Do you know what I mean? Literally pick and mix.
bastards.
Right, less about that. More about you, Lee. You are our guest today. You are a wrestler.
Yes.
Is that something you always wanted to do?
Yeah, it's something I always wanted to do, like watching it from being a kid and stuff. But
Yeah.
It's not something I ever thought I could do, being like 5'8" and living in England. Like,
Yeah.
you think in your head you've got to be at least 8 feet tall, built like a brick shit house, tanned as shit, and American.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of got into it in a really weird way. I wanted to be a filmmaker. I did little bits, I worked in film for like 10 years. I did a little bit for SBTV, did a little bit for Channel 4 and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You guys know Michael Bisping, the fighter?
Yeah.
He did this talk on YouTube where he's in a gym and he's talking to all these kids and he goes, right, if you want to be in the UFC, these are the best fighters in the world. If you want to be the best in the world, you've got to be the best in your country. Put your hand up if you're the best in the country. No one puts their hand up. You go, all right, well, let's tone it down one. Are you the best fighter in your city? No one puts their hand up. Okay, let's tone it down again. Are you the best fighter in your gym? Tone it down even more. Some of you aren't in the hardest cunt in your house. Your dad would beat your ass, right? So you have to go street by street and one by one and work up. And I put this mentality towards film. So in my small town of like 100,000 people or whatever, I said, right, I'm going to work with a couple of, MMA fighters and a couple of rappers and a couple of singers until eventually everybody in this town knows my name when it comes to film.
Right.
So I started going that way, and then I was like, right, let's move to the city above that. Let's move to the county beyond that. And because of that kind of 6 degrees of separation, a wrestler put on Facebook, hey, I'm looking for someone to film my shows, just film them straight, put them on DVD. And somebody tagged me in it. And that's how I got in, like, filming by ringside and stuff like that. And that was cool. And that was a cool, like, way into the door, but I still didn't really think this was something you could do.
Yeah.
Even though like people on the show like had side jobs at like IKEA and shit like that. Like they're all regular people doing like this is their side hustle.
Well, not to be patronising, but that's what I thought that you had. I thought you had a job and you did wrestling on the side because ultimately I didn't want to get like what are they called? Like the big. Not again. I don't want to sound patronising, but like the Rock right? Because they're just going to come from an angle that like look at me, I make all these millions. This is why wrestling is good. Whereas where are you at in your career then?
So as you get better and as you progress and you win more belts and you work for more places and stuff, you up your wage. And then when you contact places, because I work independently for like 10 different wrestling companies.
Right.
Like one overseas and like some up and down the country and stuff. And as you up your wage, they'll say, all right, I want you in for this show. How much do you cost? You tell them and they're like, okay, well, that's too much for us or we can't do it, whatever. And you negotiate. You eventually up your wage to the point where you can stop doing a day job. You can just do this. But of course, now that most shows are on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you've now got all the rest of the time to go to the gym or work on merch or do podcasts or do other stuff like that.
I have a question.
Please.
I have a question because you said there you get belts and you build up, which makes sense, but isn't wrestling scripted?
It is indeed.
So are you not writing your own script to win the belts?
You're not unless you run the company. In
Right.
the same way that like, okay, this is a bad example with Johnny Depp because he's a massive star, but like Johnny Depp doesn't choose what he does in a movie. The director or the writer does that, right?
Yeah.
And the same way you're an independent contractor, I work for a bunch of different companies and some of them I'm a good guy, some of them I'm a bad guy, some of them I do comedy, some of them I'm a right arsehole. They'll come in and they'll go, right, this is what you're doing. You're on this match. This is who you're facing. This guy wins.
Wow.
Off you go. And then you crack on.
See, but then I thought that was...
That's mad.
You lost me at this guy wins. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I understand how you're booked to play a certain role. So what's your wrestling name?
My name's Hustle Malone.
Hustle Malone. Right, okay, cool name. I like it.
Thank you.
Right, I'll allow it. You can probably knock me out, mate. Don't let me tell you. But so say you go to one show and you're like the bad guy, and you play that week in, week out, and then you go to another show and you're the funny guy.
Yeah.
But you're playing the same character because you're Hustle Malone throughout, no?
Yeah, but I'm playing. Look at like the Hulk, right?
Yeah.
When Edward Norton played the Hulk, it was different to, slightly different. There are still commonalities in it, but different to how Mark Ruffalo played the Hulk.
Yeah.
It's like when a character falls into the public domain, and everybody can make a movie about it. Like Sherlock Holmes in public domain.
Yeah.
And Will Ferrell did it, and he made it comedy and a joke and like slapstick.
Yeah.
But Robert Downey Jr. did it, and he was the smartest guy in the world.
Right. Yeah.
So that character is like mine, and I can show these different sides of it.
Right.
When I was growing up, I used to see like Hollyoaks on the TV, and I always remembered how a character would be a good guy to one person, and they would go to the next scene, and they would be a bad guy to somebody else.
Yeah.
And in the same way, like we as people, in our lives, there's some people we're the good guy, some we're the bad guy.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Okay, that's a good point.
So do you need to be good at acting?
Some people can skate away without it. So for example, like the difference between wrestling and MMA. In MMA, if you're great standing and you're shit on the floor, I'm taking you to the floor.
Yeah.
Why on earth would I stand with you? I'm going to take you down. In wrestling, we focus on the positives. So I know some people who are hilarious as their character, and they fuck around, and the crowd are in stitches, and that's what they want from him. If I know that he's crap, doing hand-to-hand, like kind of like shoot fighting, like closer to MMA kind of stuff, why would I take him up there? It's also it's a bit like a candle. If I use my candle to light your candle, mine doesn't go out anymore, does it? Mine doesn't get smaller. Your candle still, burns bright and stuff.
But I understand the metaphor, but I'm not sure how that would work in combat sport. Like, because like, for example, I'm going to take it to what I know, which is football. So if Messi's good at free kicks, you're not going to want to try and take him out outside the box.
Because you're saying yours is a performance and you're playing for the audience.
Right.
Whereas you don't want them to win. In yours, you want it to last and show the whole audience. But in that, the audience wants Messi to score a free kick. But
so you kind of don't really care who wins or loses?
Not at all.
Really?
Not in the slightest. And like you said, with the football example, that's bang on. Because I was thinking the other day, if football was scripted, would you ever want to pay money, 40 quid or whatever, to go see a 0-0 draw?
No.
If the game had to be a draw to build tension for the end of the league or whatever, that would be a 7-7 draw. But I think 5 guys get sent off. Like, that'd be accelerate. Match of the day would be the best show on
would
TV.
it though, if I knew none of it was real?
But you don't know the results. In the same way, I know Avengers isn't real, but I still go and watch that.
I hate Avengers.
He does,
He's the wrong guy, but for me, that's actually a very good point. And like, I'm not going to shy away from it. Right, on some of the biggest shit I've got on Twitter, I wasn't even being harsh. Right, I just tweeted, I don't understand the people that are waiting till 4 a.m. for the pay-per-view. There's a Hell in a Cage and shit like that. Right? I just don't get it. And oh my fucking god, did wrestling Twitter come for me?
Oh, they go mad at me. I've
fuck.
stopped tweeting about it now. I've stopped tweeting about it. Yeah,
and it's just because I just don't get it. I don't want to sound hard. I don't want to sound like an asshole.
Oh, please.
And if I can walk out of here with a changed mind, 100%. I'm not a narrow-minded person. I'm open to it. I don't get how an adult can wait till 4 a.m. for a pay-per-view for something that is pretend.
But Jordan, let me say, and I share the exact same view as you there, yeah. But the same tweet you would put about wrestling, I would put about Avengers. I would think, well, it's a man in a Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck about that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it is difficult, but is wrestling a sport then? It's not a sport.
It's performance art closer to anything.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it. The easiest example I can think of is the main difference between wrestling and boxing, for example, is like the difference between porn and sex.
Right.
Yes, one of them is fake.
Yeah.
But nobody goes home disappointed when it ends in 10 seconds.
There we go. We're done.
You can't argue with a well-written metaphor. So when did you come up with the name Hustle Malone?
So I used to run a YouTube channel called You Got This Bro, and it was motivational content, but it wasn't like I struggled watching like Anthony Robbins and stuff, to believe in the power of you. Like
I'm actually day 9 of personal power, Anthony Robbins.
I like it. See, here's the thing. I like it. But I could give you 20 guys that are way more real than that. Like, Gary Vaynerchuk.
I like
Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah, guys like him.
That's business type stuff, right?
Yeah. Who are like, you can play with the secret, you know, wish it into your life and stuff like that. And that stuff, a lot of people, that stuff does work.
Yeah.
But for me, I need a voice that says, why the fuck are you watching TV? Get up and do something. I need that voice that is like, oh yeah, I need that discipline. Come on, I need to keep going.
Yeah.
So I made a YouTube channel where I spoke in like colleges and schools and stuff like that. And it was more so aimed at young people because I felt like they didn't have anything. It was more like, you know, if you want to succeed, well, you just better keep revising then, shouldn't you? And that was it. That was just read again.
Yeah.
Try a different revision method.
Yeah.
And I hated that because that didn't work for me. So it didn't work for other people. So I tried that. And around that kind of time, it was when I was transitioning into wrestling and one took over from the other. And Gary Vaynerchuk, one guy, his mantra was hustle. And it was work hard and it was keep going. So my character, when it originally started, I started off as a corrupt motivational speaker. So in my head, it was like a cross between Tyler Durden and like Charles Bronson.
Right.
So it would be like, follow me, I'll show you the way to get a better life. If not, I'll headbutt you in the fucking head.
Yeah.
What? And then you became a motivational speaker at what age?
24, 25,
How old are you now?
29.
What makes this might be a silly question, but what makes a good motivational speaker? Because I could probably sit somebody down and inspire them to do YouTube. Whereas you could inspire me to go to the gym, Jordan, or you could inspire me to work for the Queen. You know what I mean? So how can you generalize motivation?
So you can look at the techniques that come before it first. So
Right.
you can read the books and you can find out the methods and study psychology. So the first thing I did was like I studied psychology and body language. One of my favorite books is called What Everybody Is Saying. And it's a book where it's written by a guy who used to work for the FBI. And each chapter is cut off by a limb. So like it's easy to lie with your face, but it's not very hard to like lie with your feet. So have you ever been in a nightclub and like, you know, the ugly guy taps a girl on the shoulder and she's just kind of like, huh? And just kind of like turns the head but doesn't turn the body to give you the whole body.
Right.
Because that's showing them that they're not giving you the full attention. But if like fucking Chris Hemsworth or whatever tapped a girl on the shoulder, her whole body's turning around and facing you.
Right.
So I learned the body language and then I learned things like, for example, I'm 13 years sober.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
So, thank you. I learned the things that make and break habits. And I know that, you know, when like somebody gives up smoking and they find themselves with like, you know, chewing gum
Toothpicks
or like,
and-
something because their mouth needs to be there. Your mind is kind of like a pie chart. And when you take something out, you have to fill it with something.
Yeah.
So in order to really make a habit stick, when you want to remove something, you have to take on another habit. So even if it's not something that is long term, take up a swimming class, go walking around your area, you know, word of the day or something like that. And by learning these little things, it allowed me to apply them to education. And bear in mind, like after a while, the passion for wrestling, I think, gave me a little bit more. And that's why I graduated towards there. I did the motivational thing for maybe 3 years. And then by the time it came to coming up with a character for wrestling, I thought, fucking hell, this writes itself.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I'm baffled. So up until 25, did you... How was your life? Did you not have a good life? And that's why you needed to find like external motivation?
I mean, not having a good life doesn't necessarily needing motivation.
Well, what I mean, like if, for example, so let's go from something I know. So say like at 16, I found a YouTube formula reviewing something and I made millions of pounds really easy. Like, and all I had to do was just repeat that formula, right? So I've struggled on YouTube over a number of years, but let's imagine that I could just do that. I could be chatting bollocks here, but I would imagine that the motivation would come quite easily because it's like, oh, if you just get up and just make one video, you're going to be sorted for your rent's going to be paid. Whereas I find that a lot of motivational speakers that you hear online, they struggled and they needed to one day find that spark. You said that you used to watch Gary Vaynerchuk and all of these people. So what was it in your mind that made you want to go bigger and better yourself? Because most people are just content with floating from day to day and not really doing that.
Absolutely. I think it's when you taste something good. Like when you get that little bit of something and then you go back to normality and you're like, oh, fuck, that's what life is.
Yeah.
So like I said, I grew up in Hackney and I never really expected much out of life. And then I found out that David Beckham used to play football on the Hackney Marshes like 2 minutes from my front door. And I was like, holy shit, he made it. Like he got out of here. And then like I shaved my head. I was like reluctant to shave my head for ages. And then like I saw a picture of like Vin Diesel or something. I was like, man, he looks pretty cool. And then I like broke down the door. 'Cause before it was just like, oh man, girls don't like bald guys. And then I saw him and I was like, do you know what? That's all right. He's kind of opened that door for me. And it works with everything. But primarily the motivation kind of started off generally, like at the very start, it was more just regurgitating catchphrases and things that I liked.
Yeah.
And as time went on, we were getting messages from kids in schools. And it was like, okay, well, not only is that where the target market is, clearly if everybody from this age group is hitting us up and telling us, I'm struggling here, I don't think I'm going to get out of university, college, all of that just looks like a mess to me. If they're saying that's a problem, I guess that's the thing with any field, isn't it? Like you've got to fill a gap. There's a question, can I answer it?
Yeah. Did you have any? You seem quite a confident guy. Would you say you are?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you were on stage or you were going around the schools and doing these talks, did you ever have any awkward moments? Were there any moments where you're like, I don't actually know what to say now, or like how much of it did you believe in what you were saying as well?
Oh, I always believed it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like slept it like.
I can imagine if it was me though, and I had like all these mantras and all these quotes and metaphors, and I just stopped, and my head was going, oh, you don't, and I would just start making stuff up like, get a dog, that word, do you know what I mean? Like just coming out with stuff. Like, did you have? Was it almost like a performance piece? Did you have it all written and stuff like that?
I had it more in bullet points because I don't even like with wrestling, because trash talking and shit talking is a big part of it.
Yeah.
I prefer to go with the bullet points and the feelings. Like, I can't remember where I heard this quote, but somebody said, no one remembers the things that you say or the things that you do. People only remember the way that you made them feel.
Yeah.
And on my first wrestling show, actually, I was begging the promoter. I was still this like trainee. I had shit gear, all this kind of stuff. I was begging him. I was like, please let me go out and talk trash like for 30 seconds before the match. And he didn't ask me what I was going to say. He just went, what's your last line? Because that's the only thing that people are going to leave the end with. Like,
yeah,
that's the like hasta la vista. Everyone's like, ooh.
Do you remember what it was?
Because I was doing the motivational thing, that last line was, who got this? And then I had like a crew of like 4 guys and we're like, we got this. Threw the mic up in the air.
I thought you were going to go and play on your name. You just been hustled, fool. Something like that.
Wow, yeah.
That was BBC Three, The Real Hustle, I think. Oh, mad. Yeah, this is far, like, not to be patronising, but I thought we were just getting a wrestler in and we could just like have a bit of banter about wrestling, but this motivational stuff is really, really cool, because I know that you have a very, very good mental health, what would you call it? Like the method that you've come up with.
Yeah, a method.
I want to get to that a bit later on in the show, but like my mental health goes up and down all the time, and when I'm going through a dip, I do struggle to find this motivation. Do you go through that, or because it's kind of your life and you're kind of surrounded by it all the time, do you find it easier than the average person to get up and go and on them shit days push through?
I feel like motivation really is like, it's like a ring of keys, and I feel like sometimes you just need to find the right one. And sometimes it can be one line or hearing one story or seeing one guy with a shaved head. But you can, because I thought about this, because one of my younger brothers, his motivation is like nothing. Like
right.
he'll play video games for like 12 hours in a row. I'll be like, come do something. Nah, I can't be asked. And I always like puzzled me. I was like, is one of us adopted or something? Like, how am I like this? Like, and I always thought like, could I do an experiment? Could I lock him in a room? Could I make him motivated like this? I think part of it is when I have especially shit times, my mind will like go through all the stages of grief and come out, and like my default is I've had so much of like block of content of like I've seen fucking hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of motivational content. Sometimes I think maybe it's easier to just brainwash yourself and just like, find Anthony Robbins' channel, watch all of it on repeat for 2 weeks, and then just see if at the end, if you're still like, if things are still going.
Yeah.
To me, it felt like once it clicked, it couldn't go back.
Really?
So maybe it is looking like I think instead of getting motivated, you can't just be motivated.
Yeah, that's what I'm struggling to grasp, because you seem like the kind of person that can just be motivated.
The trick is to the step before get like pre-motivated. So
Right.
like, okay, I can't be asked to do my work today. So instead, like if I've got an hour, I can't be asked to do my work in this hour. So what I will do is I will spend the first 15 minutes of this hour looking for a video or looking for a speech or reading somebody's story on Reddit of somebody who got out of a situation. I'll do that, and that is the brave step.
Right.
Rather than making like success fail. Success is I've got to do my hours worth of work. Fail is I can't do nothing.
Yeah. I often, especially now doing this Tony Robbins shit as well, it's the pain pleasure principle. So if you have a task to do, say for example you're feeling down or whatever, and you're like, I've got to get a video done, and then if you're in the wrong kind of state of mind, you might apply a hell of a lot of pain to that process. Like, oh, I can't be arsed, it's going to take ages, blah blah blah. You need to try and switch your perspective. So rather than attaching all this pain to what you've got to do, think about all the pleasure that you get from doing that, and what the outcome will provide you and bring you. And if you can switch your mentality to focus on the pleasure of something, if the pleasure can outweigh the pain of something, then often that can be a driving force to take you forward.
That's a good mentality.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm trying to do now.
How important is exercise, would you say?
For mental health, I mean, it's definitely a massive factor. I mean, you can't argue against it. You guys did the 50 days of fitness.
Yeah.
Did you guys see much of a change by the end of it?
Massively, yeah. Massively. But then trying to then now replicate what I did and do another one, if I feel like I need it, I struggle to, I don't know where I went to do the 50 days the first time. I know it helped me so much, and it definitely did, but I can't easily just go and do another 50. So I don't know why my brain, is it just lack of motivation? What is it?
Would you rather do a block of 50 and then like take a month off or whatever, then do like twice a week or something like that?
Yeah, I think that's how I work better, because I'm an all or nothing kind of person. Yeah. So I'd rather, like, if I'm smashing out podcasts, I'll do 6 a week and I'll sit there and edit them and make the best trailers ever, or I'll take a month off. Because if I feel like it's going somewhere, I really follow that kind of like that snowball. And with the 50 days, sometimes I was going to the gym twice a day. I think even once I went 3 times in one day. Whereas now I'll go to the gym twice a week. And on them days where I'm not going, I almost see it in my mind as like a mental graph. And if I've been to the gym and I've eaten well, it's a green tick. And then there's a red cross if I haven't gone. And when I see more of them red crosses coming, I think that the green ones mean less. So it's like, fuck that. I'm just going to I don't care anymore. And then I kind of block out the chart and pretend it's not happening. Yeah. When I'm going to the gym, I'll count calories. Like, I won't physically put them down, but I'll have a mental note of how many I'm eating. And at the end of my 50 days, like, it's a silly thing, but it's stuck in my brain. I bought a box of matchmakers, like the chocolate things, and I looked and they were like 540 calories or something mad, maybe more. And every one I felt guilty for. I was like, fuck, I'm just eating all these calories. Now I'll just smash a whole tub of Pringles and a box of matchmakers, and my brain, I won't allow the thought of the calories to come into my brain, because I think if I don't think it, it's not actually there. So it's hard to sort of like draw that external motivation. That's why people such as yourself interest me, because I don't quite know where you get it from. Are you on every day then? Are you just focused every day?
Definitely not. I'm guessing similar to you, when you've got a day off, it's a full day off.
Yeah.
Like not checking your phone for work or none of that. Right. One of my favorite mentalities is progress over perfection. Some people try and look to, let's say you want to get like an 8-pack or something like that, and you're never going to get it out of that one session, right? It's going to be like 0.1, today I got 0.00001% closer to my goal, whatever that goal is. And I think that's the way you've got to see it. There are some days where like, I'm banged up, or I'm too busy, or I can't make it to the gym. And like you, I think I'm very like green and red as well. But I say to myself, all right, well, I could just be fucked off with today, or I could find on YouTube, 5-minute ab tutorial, and it's not much, and it definitely ain't gonna jump you 1%. Yeah, and it might get you 0.0001% closer to it.
Yeah, fair enough. So just make a little dent in the day.
So you're always contributing towards your goal.
Yeah,
even if that tick is that fucking small. Yeah, it's better than the next.
Yeah, my issue with days where you do nothing is I don't look at it as a nothing day. I look at it as a minus day.
Yeah,
I feel like I've gone. Oh, I'm finally on 2.6%. That's progression. Yeah, and then I'll go. Oh, I've just lost 1%.
Yeah,
nothing.
That's
today.
Exactly how I am. If I do 4 days in a row at the gym and I have 2 days off, I feel like I've gone back to zero.
Yeah. But then you'll see it in proof. 2 weeks ago, I went to the gym 6 days in a week, and I weighed myself before and after, and I'd lost 4 pounds that week because I was eating well. Last week I didn't go at all. I'm now 3 pounds heavier, so I'm 1 pound lighter than I was 2 weeks ago. Still technical progression, but why did I then have a week off? And now I see it as a -3 rather than a +4.
And I feel like sometimes it's like a bit of a catapult. So I'm like working against the rubber, like so I'm pushing through, working really hard, and then when I fuck up, it flings me right back to worse than where I was before. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you've also got to think like sometimes it's more like a bow and arrow. Sometimes when you go back, you can't just think of it as like, right, well, I'm back and I'm fucked now. Sometimes this can be the pull back that sends you forward.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
Very good. Very good. I thought I was clever with a metaphor, and then you hit me with a double metaphor right back at me. When we come back after this short break, I'm going to talk more about wrestling because I still don't get it. Yeah. And I want to finish speaking about Lee's mental health method that you come up with, which is predominantly the thing that Fiona came to me and said, Jack, you need to listen to this. It's quite good. So stick around for that, and we'll see you in the next bit.
I like how I'm the only one who didn't open it.
Yeah, edgelord. Right. If you haven't noticed, we are back from the break. Me and Jordan talking about popcorn. And I'm still not sold. Still not sold. Something else I'm still not sold on. Wrestling. Talk us through. So as a kid, Lee, you were a wrestling fan. I'm going to get a lot of shit for this because I have this very outspoken opinion that I think it's a load of shit. However, I had a WWE back then. It was because it changed. WWF. Yeah, World Wildlife Federation kicked off about it or something, didn't they?
Fucking pandas.
Yeah, I had a WWF sticker book, and I had just because I liked sticker books. It wasn't really who it was. The Undertaker.
Yeah,
that's one I remember.
Boy.
He wasn't he the one in the big black coat that come up?
Yeah,
big goth
and the hat.
Big goth. Was he or was he not brothers with Kane?
Yep.
You didn't know that for a long time, though.
I didn't know that.
Kane always had a mask on.
Yeah, wasn't he?
And he was burned
victim or something?
and then he had like this hair, but then now he's just
victim?
out.
Is
Yeah,
that
no,
right?
yeah, he was always
that, was that a
known.
character or was that an actual thing?
It was only a character, but they said he was your brother's coming. Like when
Oh
they
yeah,
introduced him.
I thought at first you didn't know. I used to love wrestling when I was a kid. Kane was actually my favourite wrestler.
Well, Kane was my favourite wrestler. I never watched wrestling, but he reminded me of Darth Maul.
Darth Maul. But,
No, I mean,
Do you know what he's doing now?
No.
He's the mayor of a county, like Knox County. in
brilliant.
America.
oh, he's followed
He's like
old
legitimate-
Arnold
what county?
Schwarzenegger.
Knox County.
Knox County.
Oh, I thought you said Notts County.
He's the mayor of the football team.
I think I
spat popcorn all
can
over.
stem where my dislike for wrestling actually started.
Okay.
And this is going to sound so ungrateful. And whoever got me this gift, now I'm an adult. Thank you, because it was a gift. But basically, it must have been Christmas because both me and my cousin, right, got a wrestling toy. Yeah.
Ooh.
Now my cousin Tom opens it up. It's The Rock. What?
Decent.
Sick. I opened mine up. So, gentleman, I didn't know who the fuck he was at the time. And there's a gentleman by the name of Booker T.
Okay.
And I was like, who? He gets The Rock. Who the fuck is Booker T, man? So I think that, 6-year-old or whatever the fuck I was there, I think that is where it all went wrong. And that trauma caused the man that you see before you today.
I think Booker T was meant to be one of the big ones, wasn't he?
Well, he became bigger. He was quite cool. He did a lot of breakdancing.
I had him before he was cool, but didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Fuck's
Niche.
sake.
He was like the first. He was one of the first ones to come on and be cool in the ring
What
as well.
about,
He breakdance.
damn.
I want to go through some of the other ones I remember.
Shawn Michaels.
No.
Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I remember
Kurt Angle. Everyone.
Triple H.
Triple H.
Yeah.
Edge. Based on that.
Yeah.
They looked similar. That was
Who is the big one?
Big Show.
Big Show.
Mankind. You don't remember Mankind?
Big Shaq.
No, Big Show.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
you don't remember Mankind, do you? What was his name? Steve?
Mick Foley.
Yeah, Mick Foley. He came on with dirty socks on his hands. And that would be his. That would be his finishing
He
move.
had the mask, didn't he?
Yeah.
What about...
Rey Mysterio masks.
He killed someone, didn't he? Accidentally.
Oh, shit.
Accidentally, yeah.
Yeah, he accidentally. He still wrestles now.
Wait, we'll get to that. Because
Who do you want?
The brothers. Jeff.
Jenny and Hardy.
the Hardy Bros.
Hardy Bros.
Yeah.
Didn't one of them die?
No?
No.
Don't know where the fuck I come from.
People have, as you were saying, people have died doing this, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the most famous case?
The guy who fell from the thing going across the stage. He fell on top of the turn.
Owen Hart, yeah. He did one of those cool entrances where you come from 50 foot up and you
on a zip line.
Yeah, come down and it malfunctioned and he just fucking died.
And he fell directly on top of the pole, one of the corners, holding the ropes in. And I think it cracked his ribs and perforated a lung.
What, and people were at the show?
Yeah.
It was live on pay-per-view, the world saw it.
What?
Yeah. And then, Rey Mysterio accidentally killed someone.
Yeah.
But they knew it was an accident. He's absolutely fine. He didn't go to prison or anything.
Because you guys remember that move Rey Mysterio did, the 619, where he like...
Is it where he goes round?
jumps through the ropes.
So usually the move before that is dead easy. You just like trip them and they land on the ropes. The rope lands like there and then he comes around and kicks you in the head. Well, he tripped him, and I don't know if one of them was out of position or the other one, but he tripped and the guy's throat went right onto the ropes. And the ropes aren't like, they're like almost like cable. They're meant to be tight because they've got to support like a 300
jump
pound dude,
and
like
shit.
bouncing off it and stuff. It's got to be tight. So can you imagine like a cable that's tight as shit getting you right on the throat?
Oh man!
Did it slit his throat?
I don't know. It was like the only footage that came out were like shaky mobile footage.
Really?
And stuff. Yeah.
Speaking of slits, for a segue, how the fuck do they do the blood and shit? Do they actually? I've heard that you have razor blades and you cut yourself.
No.
So this is. I'm going to transition away. I'm going to transition away on this one, right? A lot of people saw wrestling when they were younger, like in the 90s when it was cool with Steve Austin. That was the only one you didn't mention. I thought you mentioned
Stone
Cold, the guy. Wrestling has had to grow and had to evolve since then, right? One thing that's particularly big is the rise of like over 18s wrestling. That stuff is mad. It's in like nightclubs and pubs and stuff like that, all up and down the country.
What is that, like sex wrestling?
What? I think this is stuff with actual violence, isn't it?
It's a wrestling show, but imagine a mentality of like lads, banter, beers, swearing, violence.
Right.
It's for an adult audience. It's not for kids. And you got to think as well.
I
Like,
thought you meant you had to be over 18 to do it. I was like, I can't remember any kids doing it back in the day.
So do they actually hit each other?
so here's the thing, right? You have to, because when you've got a stadium, when you're in the O2 or something like that, the crowd is like, like 15 feet away from the ring? That's massive. When you're in England and you're wrestling in an English venue, you're the front row and I'm here.
Yeah.
If I like go like that and I miss, that kid in the front row is like, right, cool, well, this is fake.
Yeah.
And it's cool. The adults all know that it's fake and they can come and they can enjoy everything else. But a kid in the front row, they're not supposed to know. So I have to make contact.
So how hard do you hit them?
The idea is that you hit hard in safe places. So the chest, you can beat the shit out of all day off. The neck, loads of it there. Of course, we're still careful with stuff like heads and we still find ways to get around stuff. But like the easiest move in the world that all wrestlers do to non-wrestlers to demonstrate it is a chop.
Can you just demonstrate that on TV?
Slap the corona right out, right?
yeah.
But without doing it, because I'm not a dick, the idea with the chop is you can either do it backhand or you can do it overhand. And the idea is you take your hand, turn away, and you turn it so that the palm connects onto the chest here. And because this is just meat, you
do it on me. I want to see how hard you do it.
Do you really want it?
Yeah. Right.
I want this.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Make sure keep talking into that mic.
Yeah. Make sure there's sound in.
Okay.
Or do you want me to hang on?
Pop it there so we get the noise.
You can describe what's going on.
Okay. So Jack's about to be assaulted live on the happy hour.
Right.
Why is he doing this?
Okay, we'll do that.
Is this in line? Is this on line? Jack is terrified, by the way.
You probably want to come a bit lower.
Yeah,
because the camera's going to be aiming around about here.
Yeah. Jack's about to become a paraplegic.
Turn that chin away.
What, you can hit me in the face?
No, here. I'm in for there.
Yeah. All right.
Here we go. Here we go. It's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, he flinched.
Go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Wrestling's real.
So we'll do probably like 30 of them in a match, and that's without the body slams, without the choke slams, any of that.
Fiona's just let us know that we are not on camera.
Oh no!
Well,
do
what
it again.
I'll do, give it 2 minutes when my chest is nice and red, and I'll show you.
We'll go again.
Right, so you do 30 of them in a match.
We'll go back and forth. You could do more, you could do less, and that's without, and here's the thing, these 18 plus wrestling matches, right? I think you guys would fucking love a night out one.
She's saying again.
I have a better idea.
Yeah.
Do it again, but I'll film it on my phone, and then in the edit,
I'm all right. I've had one. Right, go on. What are you saying, Lee? Sorry.
I reckon you guys would love an 18 plus wrestling show, right? Because some of the most fun matches I've had are on shows like this. So, for example, in a normal, weapons match or whatever, you got a table, you got a chair, you got all that kind of stuff. In the more violent ones, I've used thumbtacks.
What?
So you pour like thumbtacks on the floor, slam somebody on the thumbtacks. Moving away.
Oh my god.
Lego's another one. Pour the Lego out on the floor, slam somebody on the Lego.
Oh mate, that's horrible.
And even then, there are some guys that are more violent with that kind of stuff than I am. So I know some people that use light tubes.
Or just smash them over there.
Yeah, and it goes everywhere.
Fucking hell.
But then some of the more fun ones I've done, I did one called a Poundland Deathmatch. So all weapons have to be from Poundland.
Oh,
That's funny.
So it was me against my friend Bobby, right? So it was a female wrestler, and like we've gone into this shop, and I've got like bucket and spades. I've got like one of those like grabbing machines.
You've got the 3 cans of Diet Coke.
Yeah, one of the little ones. I got Werther's Originals, poured down out on the floor, gave her a slam onto that.
Oh.
All the creative stuff you can. I had another match called All Foods Illegal. So the only weapons you're allowed to use are food. I've got a melon bowled into my dick.
Oh, fucking hell.
And the weird thing is we were planning it, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. Thinking in my head, I can just tuck it to the side, it's fine. And then I got there, and my legs were open, and I was like, where was I meant to tuck that to? This was an oversight. This is.
Oh, no.
What else did we do? So I actually lost one of my front teeth in that match.
Yeah.
I got it like filled back in. So there's a bit where she kicks me in the dick. And I go, and I hold my dick. And then I reach into my tights and I pull out a tin of Peppa Pig spaghetti hoops. And I'm like, got your love, sorry. And then she like hits it. And instead of hitting it into my chin, it hit it into my mouth and I lost my tooth.
Fuck. And what?
Did you carry on?
Had to.
Yeah.
And I had a mate in the crowd that went, look, he's hurt. And they went, what the fuck am I going to do about it? The show goes on, innit?
Wow. Gee, okay.
Just
All
lost
right.
your teeth.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
That's a bit more real than the normal wrestling, though.
Should we see if we got. There's a little bit of a mark there.
Yeah.
Or you're just a pussy. I didn't mean that, I promise. Do you remember doing your first proper show?
Yeah.
Is that nerve-wracking?
Oh, for sure.
Really?
I was kind of lucky in the sense that I started off as a bad guy for the first promotion I worked for, which is great because it's so much easier to get somebody to hate you than it is to get somebody to like you.
Yeah.
Right.
You just come out and you're like, this town sucks. Your local sports team is shit. Like,
Yeah.
walk in the park, or everybody here is ugly. Everyone here is over, and you just go to town with that kind of stuff, and that's
Yeah.
easy. And I came out and spoke on the mic. The first promo I ever did, I had a book that I got for Christmas of Kanye West quotes.
Right.
So I came out and I went, we're here to hear the word of Kanye. And the guys that was with me, like, praise be to Kanye. And the quote was, the greatest tragedy of my career is I will never be able to see myself perform live.
Yeah.
Praise be to Kanye. And the whole crowd are like, but get out the ring, boo, go away. So yeah, it's nerve-wracking. Definitely helped being it's definitely more fun being a bad guy. Don't get me wrong. It's nice. In some places I'm a good guy. And dads bring their kids over and they're like, can my kids get a picture with you? They're massive fans of you.
Oh, but they won't do that so much with the bad guys.
Yeah, depends.
Because to me, that makes me think that are they a bit stupid? That's like not going up to like a bad guy in a movie, like because he's the bad guy. I thought everyone. Do you think there's a percentage of wrestling fans that believe it?
Kids, yes,
Right.
but the difference is you see a movie, afterwards you bump into Robert Downey Jr., he shakes your hand or whatever, right? With wrestling, because we perform so often, if you wanted to, you could get in your car and you could see me wrestle every day of the weekend and come see me like every week. You could see me 50 times a year or something like that.
Yeah.
So if I'm a bad guy during the show and then after the show, I'm like, hey, how's it going? You're right. Thanks for coming. Next week when you see me, are you still going to boo me?
Yeah.
Because you're like, in your head, you're like, I know he's a nice guy, really.
Right.
Then what if they see you in 2 different shows where you're a bad guy in one and then a good guy in the other?
Typically, like, because shows are so spread out,
Yeah.
it's never a massive problem.
So it's in certain areas you're a bad person and in another area you might be a good.
My girlfriend's worked it out that I'm a bad guy below the Watford Gap.
Oh, really?
So every promotion under there, they fucking hate me. Like, I can walk around towns and people are like, what up? But up north, they love me.
Nice.
How often do you get recognised and stuff?
Yeah. It's nice when like, as a good guy, you can make an influence with people.
Yeah.
So I did a show a little while ago, and like a lot of good guys, they can be quite bland. So they can come out, they can be like, come on, like, yeah, high five everybody in the front row and stuff like that, and slide in the ring. I was a good guy in a show. I came out and I just walked around the back of the crowd, and my little brother's got autism, and I kind of recognized, and I saw this kid had these like the big earphones on and stuff like that, and I went over and I gave him a fist bump. Like, just instinctively, like, I see people in the crowd, give them a fist bump. You know, these are the people who buy my shirts, put my food on the table, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I gave him some love, did the match. A couple of days later, I got like a 7-tweet like message from this dad who said that his kid is normally quite scared to come out of the house, but getting a fist bump from his hero, like, don't get me wrong, like, Iron Man's cool and stuff, but you're not going to bump into Iron Man, you bump into Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to kids and to people who still believe it's real,
Yeah.
that's the advantage of still being a hero.
Yeah.
That's class.
That is brilliant.
What about the other side of the coin, though? So that's the admiration from people, but what about the people that boo you? How does it feel to be booed?
Fucking great. Oh my God, it is great. This is where, like, when I think of like YouTube boxing and stuff like that, like, it's almost difficult to do boxing with YouTube because it's so linear. It's win-lose. And like, especially with YouTube as well, when you've got two YouTubers against each other, where do you go afterwards? You can play the bad guy. Like, you guys could like agree beforehand, like, we're going to have a fight and I'll play the bad guy and you'll get all the love. But people might genuinely unsubscribe. You know, that might take food off your plate. Whereas with, you know, I'd love to do a YouTube wrestling match against a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would fucking crush.
Who would you want to fight?
Two people.
Go on.
Fight.
Oh,
You after the way you took that.
Calling me a pussy. There you go. First person, Bambino Becky.
Really?
100%.
She's coming in after you. You'll meet her out there.
Sweet. I'll hide in the corner, right? And then we'll chop.
Yeah.
RKO or into the table.
What's your reason for Becky?
A lot of my best matches have been against women,
Okay.
right? Wrestling's completely intergender. But the other thing as well is you've got to have a big character and you've got to be able to go for it. So if you ever did like, you know how like in MMA or whatever, and there's a press conference, and then after the fight, they're like, well, it was a good fight. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then it all just calms down.
Yeah.
You do a press conference with Bambino Becky and she's like, I'll headbutt your fucking head off, mate.
Yeah.
You know that's coming.
Yeah.
And the other person's Joe Weller.
Right.
Because obviously he started off with like wrestling videos and stuff like that. Into the pool and stuff like that. So that's, you know, that's natural. Let him be a multi-sport guy.
You've got it sussed already. How important is firstly a name and secondly an image?
Massively. Because, I mean, an image, you put your picture on the poster and stuff. If you just look like a guy and you're like, you know, you just stand there with the fist pose.
What's your wrestling face then?
I change my look like every year and a half. I'm all about a reinvention.
What are you at the minute?
At a minute, I've got this, do you guys know the show Tokyo Ghoul?
No.
It's like this anime show with this like big fucking creepy looking mask with a zip over it.
Oh, right.
I'm quite known for my shit talking in wrestling, so that's why I've got the zip. So when I turn up at the show and I unzip the mouth, it's like, oh, we're gonna get some heat today.
Yeah.
So I've got that. I've got this like cool jacket that actually my girlfriend made with like, you know, I've got a white X on it for every championship I've ever won and a red X for every year sober that I've ever been.
Right.
This big cool image on the back.
Yeah.
It's about being larger than life, you know. I heard somebody say you don't pay to see your neighbor.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the same with every kind of content. I guess with YouTube as well. You don't pay to see a regular guy unless he's Robbie Knox. Absolutely do.
Yeah, man.
Talking of image, when Fiona showed me a video of you, I thought, and I hope this doesn't come across nasty, but I thought you had one eye.
For a little while, I kind of did.
What's that about?
So, again, I like reinvention. Like, you can take inspiration from anything. And I liked characters like Solid Snake and like as basic as it is, someone looks kind of badass when they got one eye, right?
Yeah.
You look like kind of a badass.
Yeah.
So I did a story where like this other guy who's a good guy and I'm the bad guy, we were doing a switch. So he's like, this guy looks like Justin Bieber, like he's a pretty boy. How am I going to get him to look like the bad guy? So I used to come out with a toothpick. He would take the toothpick and we would like do a fake special effects video where he took out my eye, right? So I start wearing the eye patch, which now he looks like an asshole. So he's getting booed. I'm getting cheered out of sympathy. So we've gone the right way. And I was wearing the eye patch and someone went, why don't you just get like a white contact lens or something? So we did a match. He takes it off and I kind of stare at him like almost like a horror movie.
Yeah.
The place goes absolutely wild for it.
Mad. And so when you were doing, again, we'll get to the ABCD method.
Yeah.
You did a video about it on Facebook. You had that eye contact lens in then, didn't you?
This was during that time. But of course,
So you have to keep up the persona.
I felt like at the time, Hustle Malone is going to have more of an outreach than Lee does.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess it's just using the platform where you can.
And you were kind of playing a bit of a character in that, I guess.
I guess it just kept it consistent.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm doing that at the time, and again, like I said, I change the look every year and a half, keep it fresh, get exciting again.
If you were now going to like put us three on a show
Yeah.
and make us into characters,
Yeah.
how would you do it? How would you do us?
How would I do you? Good stuff. So, Duty, I know you used to be a personal trainer or something, right?
Yes,
Is
I
that
was,
right?
yeah.
So straight away, you're a bad guy. Right? 100% you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because you can come out, berate the crowd. This crowd, you guys are overweight and ugly. And like, you guys need to get it together. Or like, and then you bring out a good guy and you go, if you can do 50 press ups in a row, right? I'll give you the belt. I'll just give you the belt straight up. And as they get to like 48, you just kick their leg out and walk in the park. And this is it. Wrestling lives and dies on reactions.
Yeah.
It's even if you're a good guy and a crowd are booing you for whatever reason, if they're loud, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
The worst thing you can get is crickets.
So your name would be...
Yeah, what's my name? Or have I got
It'd probably be the Rhino, wouldn't it?
It's got to be something to do with Rhino.
Yeah. Or the personal painer. Oh, puns. They're not loud, are they? Surely.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, are they? Right, what would you be?
Name or...
What would your thing be?
I'd assume I'd be the nice guy.
I reckon because of your job, right? You should dress up in like tweed and be quite posh.
Yeah.
And come out and be the butler. so you're...
And then you could be like, the butler did it.
Yeah.
This guy, yeah.
And also, you could just be like the little dog's body for the real bad men. Do you know what I mean? So like he'll come out and he'll go, Stevie, hit him. And he'll go, yes, sir. Like that. And then you'll go over with a walking stick or
A walking stick?
One of them things you keep food hot in. Like so like, oh, your food,
like a tray.
Your food's here, ma'am, but you go, your food's here, cunt.
I suddenly say cunt. Okay, great. I'm enjoying that.
What would your wrestling name be?
I think I could do Stone Cold Stevie Austin.
Oh, I like it.
Kind of copyright.
I got an idea.
You added an I.
Okay, fine. I got an idea for me and Jack because we're both alcoholics, and we could be a tag team called the Heavy Benders. I'd be the Heavy, and he'd be the Benders. Perfect.
Money.
That's offensive.
I'm not to myself.
Right, and I would be
Jack Hate.
No, that's all right. What about this? Jack, mate, but in the middle, Jack's not your mate.
Oh.
And I come out.
Fuck you, I'm not your mate.
Yeah, and I'll go to the kids in the front row, and I'd go, all right, mate, joking. I'm not your mate. But it don't matter because I've just hit him in the chest with my palm. Bang, like that.
And by the end of it, you'd just be Jack No Mates.
Yeah, but I don't mind because I've made all that wrestling dollar.
There we go then.
Is the money all right?
Yeah, it's good. The cool thing is the more you go up, right, and the more money you make, if you wanted to, you could wrestle less. So
Really?
Rey Mysterio did a match in the UK a little while ago. He got 20 grand for like 10 minutes.
Really?
But, you know what I mean? What do you
Yeah.
do the rest of your month after that?
Yeah. Alluding to what Jordan asked at the start,
No.
if somebody scripts the match, you could auto be scripted that you don't get this belt.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work in terms of how the English football leagues go. So you win the championship, you go up to the Premier League. If you won loads of belts in the UK, would you then? Is there a chance? Would you have a higher chance of going over to WWE, like the Promised Land, or can you be really good at being a loser?
Absolutely. You can definitely be good at being a loser. You've got to see the talent underneath it. So you might say, what's the point in a belt if it's fake? Because the belt is for the winners. So what's the point in that? But you've got to see there's a lot of things that come with those belts. So if I win a championship for a company, I'm front and center on the poster, right? So now I'm part of the drawing power of what promotes the show. When somebody sees that poster like in the high street, they're like, oh, fuck, Hustle's going to be on it. I'll go to that. So now you're part of it. When there's media opportunities for your company, if you're going to be on the local radio or whatever, they'll send the champion and they'll send the big names and stuff like that.
So does that not frustrate you then? Because you might be really fucking good at acting, really good at the kind of the combat side of it, but you might just get a bad script. No,
you control what you do in that match. You might win or you might lose, but it's up to you to smash it. You know Batista, who does Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? So he won the Rumble, and that gave him a title shot at WrestleMania, right? Usually you get the main event, the last match, the most important match. He was like 4 matches down, and he was fucking livid, right? Because they were like, oh, there's loads of main events this year. He was pissed off that he wasn't in the headline match. So he has his match with The Undertaker. He's walking to the back, and the other lads going out after him are standing there, like going through their match. He walks by, slaps one of them on the back, and goes, fucking top that. And that's the mentality we have, right? It's not me against you. Wrestling is like a competition amongst artists. We're all trying to have the best match on the show. Doesn't matter if I'm great and my match is shit, because together, that's what we were built for.
So essentially, your opponent is like your dance partner.
Absolutely.
That's interesting.
It's up to us to steal the show together.
Yeah,
So
that's brilliant.
if you got a really big show,
Yeah.
and it was big for your career, and you realise halfway through that your opponent's a bit shit, would you be giving him a harder digs than that?
Nah, because if he's fucked up, if he's getting battered, that doesn't really help the story of the match because it's all drama. Right. So you do the best that you can in there. I don't really know how to say it. Like you do the best with the tools that you've got. But of course, the higher up you go, the better caliber of people that you're going to be put in there with.
Yeah. Who would be your dream fighter?
I don't suppose any of you guys know CM Punk.
Yeah.
CM Punk. Yeah.
A bit of a fruity UFC career, but yeah.
He definitely did. But I mean, when you get into a game that late, like, would you expect?
That's who Logan Paul was trying to fight at one point.
Mad. That's just mad.
Why is it mad? Who would win?
Who would win? I still think CM Punk would win that fight purely because he was doing MMA like unofficially for years. But when you're constantly on the road, how are you going to get a grading at your local gym?
Yeah,
because they've only seen you once every 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
For you, did it help wrestling or did it devalue it that he went to like real combat sports and got battered?
Well, Brock Lesnar did the same,
Brock Lesnar did it and he fucked it up.
What?
Brock Lesnar is a beast of a man.
What? He went to MMA.
Yeah.
What?
Brock Lesnar did 2 years in wrestling.
Alistair Overeem, they fucked him up, man.
He did 2 matches. He did 2 years in WWE. Did NFL for like a year. Then went to UFC and won the heavyweight championship after like 4 fights.
Yeah.
Who gets to be the top of everything after 4 fights? That's like nothing.
Yeah.
That's a cup of coffee.
Wow. I'm fascinated. I genuinely am not just saying this for the sake of the podcast, but I am seeing it in a completely different light.
I think
you've shifted my
I appreciate that.
There's now I'll say there's now wiggle room.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say.
I mean, wrestling had to change. This isn't just on you guys. Wrestling had to change too. We can't just be like 2 big lumbering dudes throwing like shit punches at each other. Wrestling is now more than ever like a pre-drinks show. You and your mates will go see a match from 7 till 9 at a nightclub. It'll be fucking great. The bad guys will look great. Like, you know, it'll be the kind of show that you can interact with. Like you shout something at a wrestler. Like I'm quick on my feet. If someone shouts something at me in the ring, I'll shout back at them.
Really?
Right? Someone shouted out something at me a while ago. Hustle, you suck. And I went, yo, if I want your opinion, I'll ask your carer. Shut the hell up. Crack on with the match. You don't get that at a movie or somewhere else. But it is the kind of thing now. Like my girlfriend came to one of my shows a while ago. It was over 18. She had all her mates in the crowd and I was a bad guy. So she was shouting, fuck you, Hustle. And I went, in your fucking dreams, love. Picked the guy up and did a move. It's more like that now. It's less like, well, we're here, World of Sport at ringside. Big Daddy. Like, we had to change. And that's why I think it'd be better if people dip their toe back in and check on it every now and again.
Yeah. How big is it here now? Like, I know America's still the big one, but how, in comparison, is it getting towards American way? I notice you have a bit of an American twang in your accent. Is that a performer's voice?
I think it's just performing.
Yeah.
I think it's just, like I said, you don't pay to see your neighbor.
Yeah.
So I try and remove Hustle as far away from Lee as possible.
Right.
Yeah. In returns to the UK, it's fucking massive now. Like I said, there's a reason WWE come here. One of my old coaches, this great wrestler called Eddie Dennis, he had to stop coaching us because WWE hired him.
Wow.
That's the kind of a great reason to stop teaching people, right? Like, that's great.
Yeah.
And now, there's like tons of UK names that are all signed up to this contract. I've got friends who are like, I can't see you for a while. They've just paid for me to do 6 months in Japan.
Fuck.
Cool. Wow. Well, I'll go do that then.
Would you do that?
Yeah. Japan's like, each place kind of has their own style. So like Mexico is like very flippy and very gymnasticy and all.
That's all the masks and that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that like the Nacho Libre kind of stuff?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what they like in Japan, in Mexico.
Yeah.
In Japan, it is like these chops, it's like 100 of them.
Really?
Headbutts, all that shit.
Yeah.
Japan is like probably as close to MMA as you get.
Right.
And then you kind of learn different styles from all over the place.
Yeah, and America's like more of the narrative, the drama?
Yeah, I'd say America's more of the story side of it. But the thing is, the story's good when you know that fans are adults and you can make them forget that they're watching a story. In the same way that people cry when they watch like The Notebook or something.
Yeah.
When you can tell a story and make people forget what they're doing, it's fucking great.
What impresses you more? The combat side? If you was to now watch like, I imagine because we have got like a dead eye to all of this stuff. Like we wouldn't know what we're looking at when we watch it. But you could spot a better wrestler from a worse one.
Yeah.
Even if the better one was getting the shit kicked out of him, right? Are you looking more at the way they move in terms of combat, or what are you looking at? Their facial expressions, the way they're acting, the way they interact with the crowd, or is it a combination of all of those things?
You got to juggle everything.
Yeah.
Because you got to tell the story. You got to juggle whether you're a good guy or a bad guy. You've got to pretend like you're being hurt. Sometimes you are hurt, sometimes you're not. But you got to sell that you're hurt while also remembering what comes next in the story or what comes next in the match.
Fuck.
My favorite story that I ever did, right, in a match was so do you guys know what Money in the Bank is?
What, when you have to grab it from the top of the ladder?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they've got this concept where like you win this dangerous ladder match, and if you do it, you get a contract for a title shot anytime you want in the next year. But that means any time. So the champion could like have a cage match and be covered in blood and be knackered, and you can pop out and be like, "You all right? That's my go." Like, so it gives you a massive advantage. So I won this briefcase really early on in my career, and suddenly, after being hot shit, they started booking me to lose all the time. So even though I've got this like guaranteed anytime I want contract, I just started sucking shit, right? So I came out and I had almost like a midlife crisis in front of the crowd. And I was like, I don't get it. I thought I was the next guy. I thought I was meant to be the champ. This is meant to be my big moment. And it ain't happening. Something's got to change. I don't know what, but something's got to change. And the crowd are just confused. They don't know what I'm saying. So later that night, I'm fighting this guy called Chris Tyler, who is like all-American good guy. This guy looks like he lives in Hollister, right?
Yeah.
So I'm facing him, and instead of me coming out and being like, this town sucks, all that kind of stuff, I just come out head focused on the match. I put my hand out for a handshake, and he's like, bro, are you serious? Just kicks my hand away. I was like, all right, I tried, fair enough.
What, and this isn't planned?
No, this is planned. This is part of the story.
Right. Yeah.
So he kicks my hand away. So I was like, all right, I was trying to be a good guy, but all right, fair enough. So we wrestle a match. At one point, the referee gets knocked down. One of my tag partners comes out and he tries to like give me the advantage. And I'm like, no, fuck off. I need to do this on my own, right? I carry on wrestling Chris, somehow win like a good guy. After the match, I put my hand out again and he shakes the hand and the whole crowd are like, he's turning a new leaf. This is the change he's talking about. So the winner of that match was meant to go on and face the champion, this guy called Ryan, right? Ryan, I've been shit talking him for 2 years, right? I said to the boss, I was like, give me someone to shit talk for a while. And he gave me him because the guy can shit talk back.
Yeah.
So I was like, give me somebody like that. So it comes up to the match with Ryan. Usually I wear all black and I come out to Hate Me Now by Nas, right? A proper bad guy song. I came out to All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix. Came out wearing white and orange, right? Match starts, put my hand out to Ryan, slaps me in the face harder than I've ever been slapped in my life. My face was, I had a beard and my face was immediately like finger marks over it. I was like, fair enough, I deserve that. I slap him one back, right? We go into the match, we get going. At one point, the ref gets knocked down. The belt is right near me and a belt weighs like 40 pounds. Like, it's heavy, like, it's weighty. So I grab it and I'm like, the ref's knocked down. I could hit this guy in the head right now. And this is like Murder, She Wrote. I kind of glance at the crowd and the crowd are like, no, don't do it. Because they've seen me. It's like somebody's about to like relapse. They see me about to relapse. They're like, don't do it. And I'm like, oh, I've come this far. I throw the belt down, right? The crowd are like, yeah, they're finally coming round, right? I turn back to Ryan. Ryan kicks me in the head, pins me. 1, 2, 3. Beats me. The dream is over. The dream is done. I walk up to Ryan afterwards. I'm like battered. Like I look like a piece of shit. And he shakes my hand and I was like, wow, like I earned that. Finally, like I didn't get the belt, but I earned something else.
Right.
So I leave him to the ring and I start walking to the back. And the announcer's like, what do we think of that? That was great. Yeah. But tonight we've only had 9 matches and I promised you 10. Chris Tyler's music hits, right? And he's fresh as a fucking daisy. And he walks past me and like, God, he's so handsome. He slaps me on the shoulder and he's like, good try, buddy. Good try, little buddy. And that is just like the most dehumanizing, like demasculating thing in the world. So he runs to the ring and he's fresh and he's got a match with Ryan. They start going, they wait and they're going to town. Suddenly the lights go out. Hate Me Now by Nas hits. I reappear. I'm holding the briefcase. I'm wearing all black and I use the briefcase to add myself back into the match, right? The two guys are looking at each other. They're like, what the hell? Suddenly my boys from earlier on pull Chris out of the ring. They're like, nope, you're out, pal. Pull him out. Ryan's like, what? Turns around, I club him in the fucking head with the briefcase. 1, 2, 3, champion. Right? So the whole crowd saw me go all the way to almost a hero and come all the way back to be the bad guy. So it's like the moral of the story is sometimes being a piece of shit is what gets the job done. and I had like grown men who know it's fake, who are inside the industry. They were like, that story made me forget that I was watching entertainment.
Yeah, I forgot
I felt
that it was
quite-
fake. I was like, what happens at the end?
I felt really immersed in that. I was like,
Oh,
Brilliant.
dear me. Right, that was good. I'm gonna genuinely watch a match now.
You're gonna give it a bash.
I'm not saying I'm converted, but I want to see it. I want to watch it, and I want to see. Like, have you got clips on YouTube?
I'll send you some stuff. Yeah.
All right, yeah. What can people find out your?
Oh, if you just search me Hustle Malone on YouTube, yeah.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna check it out.
do you have a finishing move?
I've got a couple of finishing moves. Yeah, I got one. It's called the Brain Maker.
What do you do?
Ooh.
So I'll stand behind you and I grab your arm to like whip you out.
Yeah.
Almost like a dance move. And as I pull you back in, I give you a headbutt. Right? I give you a headbutt just here to the side of the head, and then I pull you under you and I give you a DDT.
A what?
A
DDT.
So I get your head here under my arm, and then we hit the floor. So I headbutt your head to stun you, and then I pull you in, finish the job.
I headbutt you just to stun
to
you,
take
and then I'll come out with a big
That's
move.
the only
right?
way. Yeah.
Imagine that, boys in nightclubs, like, I'll fucking headbutt you just to stun you, and then a real big will go.
And then I'll glass you.
How much, you mentioned the dance partner thing, is it, when you're in there, do you know you have to get like X, Y, and Z moves in, but the filler can go however, or is it foot by foot, move by move?
That's not a bad way to think about it, right? When I first started and I learned about the formatting of a match and how it works, at first I felt a little bit cheated, right? Because you go through stages. It starts off with what they call the shine. The shine is where the good guy hits his cool stuff, makes you give a shit and realize, oh, he's actually good. Oh, okay, cool. He might not have been, but now I know he's good. The bad guy hits the cutoff to stop the momentum, usually does something bad guy-ish. Does the heat to slow it down, and then the comeback where the guy comes back, hits a big flurry, and then we swap moves at the end. And I used to think, man, I can't believe I've never noticed that formula. But then again, movie scripts
That's
work
how-
the exact same way. If
Yeah.
there's not a pivotal moment at page 15, they'll throw your script out.
Yeah.
It needs to follow that format.
Yeah.
So typically, if the other guy forgets, because sometimes when you're more experienced and you're kind of carrying the younger guy, if he forgets stuff, it's like, okay, well, as long as we get to this point, he'll probably be able to pick it up from there.
Right. So there is a lot of it where you are just sort of like moving about, hitting each other, not really knowing what's coming next.
Just building the narrative.
The thing is the crowd can lead you sometimes.
Can they?
Absolutely. So they do a thing called a hope spot, right? So let's say I'm the bad guy, I've got the good guy down, and I'm wailing at him, and I'm taking my time to look at the crowd, give them shit, shout stuff at people. If the crowd starts suddenly getting back on them, by the time I turn back to the good guy, he'll give me a couple of shots, and the crowd will be like, hold on a minute. Making noise for the good guy inspires him to fight harder. So if I'm like, you all suck, boo, turn back round, he gives me a shot, they're up for me now, right? We're like, oh, we've got them in the palm of our hands now. So sometimes I'll say, don't fight up until they want you to. Then you've rewarded them.
Yeah. Fucking hell. It's literally like a theatre piece, isn't it?
Which is weirdly, because I've never looked at it that way. But when you explain it, it's so fucking obvious that is maybe what it should be seen as. And in that light, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
It's easy. Yeah. But then that's why I completely get why you'd like Avengers. I
Yeah.
completely get it. I know it's a $1 billion industry or whatever.
Yeah.
But I can't enjoy it. So I'm going to go back and watch it and see. But do you think it's easy to convert a kind of non-believer?
I think you got to show them the right stuff.
Yeah.
I heard this argument a while ago. Someone was talking about reality TV, and they said, "Oh, like I don't have a TV because there's Jersey Shore and there's all this like Made in Chelsea, all this trash TV." And someone went, "But like Snooki wrote a book, so it doesn't mean you throw out all the books, right?" In the same vein, any wrestler now represents all wrestlers because you're like, "Oh, I saw the wrestling."
Yeah.
The same way that like you guys get it when there's a YouTuber who fucks up.
Yeah.
You all pay the price.
Yeah.
Everybody takes a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or you go see a 0-0 and that doesn't mean that Barcelona v Real Madrid's not going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
good. I don't want to leave without talking about this method that we've alluded to throughout the episode. I think it's a very unique and original way to get people speaking about mental health, and I think everyone in this room wouldn't be human if they hadn't suffered from mental health at one point in their life. So talk us through the ABCD method, and you kind of coined this, didn't you?
Yeah. So I've had no bones about it. I've struggled with my mental health for years. Depression and anxiety, it's always kind of plagued me. But I'm a very practical person. So when I see messages like, if anybody wants to talk, just send me a message, and then you talk to them, and then at the end they're just like, well, if you ever need to talk, and I'm like, we just did that, we talked, right? Just because you can make beans on toast doesn't mean you're Gordon Ramsay. And when somebody goes, if you need to talk, that doesn't make you a therapist. And that's no disrespect to the people who do that stuff, because some people talking, getting it out, it helps them. For me, it doesn't. If I'm pissed off because my car's broken, I need to fix my car. Like, talking isn't going to get me through that. But that's just personal. That's just my way of doing things. I feel a lot of people struggle when it comes to, they just want to feel normal. And I think we forget a lot as adults. You get fucking lonely sometimes. As an adult, it's hard to make friends, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to be like when you see somebody at the gym and you're like, at what point do I stop, spotting them? And do I ask them if they want to get a beer?
Yeah.
When I come to a party? Why is that weird? Why is that awkward?
And the way that the British people are, they will be like, it's fucking weird. Just ask me,
We're gym friends. Get away. I'm not coming to your party.
Yeah.
It's weird to bridge that gap with people. Sometimes you don't even want to do anything. You just want somebody in the house.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I've had dates in the past where like I'll be talking to a girl and I'll be like, hey, I need to get my work done, but you want to just bring your laptop around and do whatever you're doing, and I'll just be in the room at the same time. Like, it's hard. So I thought about a way to say to people, I want to talk. I don't necessarily want to talk about my mental health. I don't want to unload all my problems on you. I just want to talk about anything. I just want my phone to go off for the first time today. I just want to talk to somebody. So I looked at emojitracker.com, and least used emoji across, like, I think it's WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, is this little grey square that says ABCD. It's the least used emoji out of everything on mobile devices generally.
It used to be the Isle of New, and then we took that as our happy hour flag. Sorry, mate.
So I thought, as a method of being able to get people to speak, just being able to, it eventually equivalents to DMs are open. Put this little emoji in the corner of your Instagram story. Put it on the end of your Facebook status. It could be anything else. I put up a picture of like, great session at the gym, me at the gym, and I hid it just kind of in the corner, right? That's enough to be like, reach out. And people could be like, hey man, what's going on? And then it's up to me whether I want to say, hey man, I've been feeling really low today. Or whether I go, not much man, what's going on with you? How's the family? And it's up to me to then go out from there. And I did it, and I put the video out, and it got a lot of love online and stuff. But then I wanted to see, do people actually care? Will this actually work? So a week later, I waited for all the hype to die down and stuff. I put up a picture of like a couple of cans of Pepsi or something like that. Like, I need to stop drinking this or whatever. And I hid it in the corner, and I went and had a shower, and I came back and I had 15 DMs from people being like, hey man, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it's nice that you can talk about mental health and not have to feel weak doing it, and not have to be like, hands up, I feel like shit and my life sucks, someone talk to me. You can just be like, DMs are open, make me feel like a normal person for a bit.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Brilliant.
How did you think of that? I don't know how you thought of that, because that's quite good, because you had so when you say it, you don't want people to necessarily talk about mental health, but just say anything. Like, it's you saying, I want a discussion. Is that right? I
think it's down to the person who posted the emoji. It's down to them to, I can't DM a friend out of the blue, or maybe that's just me. I don't feel like I can DM a friend completely out of the blue and be like, hey man, had a really, really bad day today, feel kind of suicidal. Now that is on them to be like, okay, shit, how are we going to deal with this? Okay. But if someone sees that little emoji and then messages me, it's them going, okay, well, I'm here to talk, whatever that may be, whatever's going on with you.
That's good. I think in the what's it called? Like once that goes out, once that message is spread, in the kind of recent, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, so before it goes on too long. So like in the first few months kind of thing, I think it'll work well. But then I think after a while, do you not think people might abuse it after a while, like anything online? Or do you think that should just be like the universal symbol of, well, not abuse it, but will it mean less? Because now, imagine when social media first started, if someone done a story and they were like, if anyone wants to talk, I'm here. You'd go, wow, this person wants to talk to me. And then they get a bit of clout from it. So all your favourite YouTube stars, guys, I'm always here if you need me. Yeah. And no, you're not. So once it catches, it could almost be... it could almost make its own death if it got too big, because right now we all know the symbol, and if we saw it, we'd reach out to our friends. Whereas if it blew up and blew up and blew up, it might mean less. Does that make sense to you?
I guess I guess any symbol has the danger of that, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of think whenever I think of like fame and like status and stuff like that, I remember this conversation. You know the singer Neo?
Yeah.
He had a conversation with Jay-Z and he was like, they keep starting these rumors that I'm gay. I don't know why everyone keeps thinking that I'm gay. Everyone started this rumor that I'm gay. And he was like, you haven't made it until these rumors start. Like, things are going to be said about you, whether they're right or wrong. You don't get this shit. This is what you call a good caliber of problem to have. So if it blows up like that, cool. Even if 90% of people are bastardizing it.
Yeah.
If 10% of people are getting a good benefit out of it, then it's worth having around, I guess.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There we go. The ABCD method. Which is it a method? I think it's a method, isn't it?
Yeah, it works.
There we go. I like that. Lee, this has been an absolute pleasure, mate. A lot of laughs, a lot of insightful chat about wrestling, and a little bit of a delve into mental health as well. Thanks for emailing in, mate, because I don't know if our paths would have crossed had you not done that. So
I appreciate you guys having me on. I love the podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hey, and to your credit as well, like you said at the start of the year that you were going to, how many pods a year? This year, 100 or?
I know.
Yeah, we're going to try and do two a week. Yeah, two a week.
Fucking smashing it, mate. Like,
Ate my own words for that one.
Thank you, mate.
We've actually got episodes ready. Well, depending on this one, this could be in May. That's how well we're doing.
If coronavirus does take us down, we'll outlive
We'll still be entertaining.
Our art. Yeah. And you're the first guest to bring us popcorn. So.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
My favourite.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lee. Check out Hustle Malone on YouTube, and what are your social medias like Twitter and
At
Instagram?
Malone Hustle on everything.
There we go. It's been a pleasure. Cheers, Stevie.
That's all right.
Cheers, Jordan.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Hustle. See you next week.
Hustle.